Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Andy Walker, we're back for episode 118 with some new technology on board. This is exciting.
Well, hopefully it works as good as the old technology, because the old technology had a tendency to come out okay, but I'm not convinced that we've moved to better technology. So let's just see how it all works out.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Feedback welcome, pilgrims. Let us know what you think. Bit to get through tonight. There's been a bit of action out on the fairways, which is very exciting. So there's a little bit of golf to talk about, pilgrims, which is good. But before we get there, I'd like to give...
It's Masters Week.
Oh, isn't it though? Isn't it?
Like I was watching on KO what's the after show? It's not on the green, but it's something like that.
On the range Live from the range. Live from the range. Yeah. With Paul McGinley and Brandon Chambly, and it's quite interesting and quite exciting. I'm really keen to see who will do well this week. You know who I'd really like to see do well? Bryson,
and that's Gary Woodland.
Oh, I think everyone would love to see.
He is one guy.
Love to see Gary Woodland.
I would love to see do well, and then maybe have Justin Rose as the winner. I think Rosie absolutely. I mean, deserving a green jacket's never got anyone a green jacket. Let's be honest, but Rosie deserves one as much as anyone. Gary Woodland would be an emotional winner. JJ Spawn, if he could go back to back, would be an emotional winner after just winning Texas. JJ Spawn, type 1 diabetic, so topic as pilgrims know close to my heart. But, so we're all on the John Michael Spawn bandwagon. Yes.
We'll see how that pans out. But of the Aussies as well, like Scotty, obviously it'd be great to see Scotty get a second green jacket. Jay Day has been on the improve. Min Woo, I feel, might fit into the Ludwig Oberg category of being able to play 3 pretty solid rounds of golf but can't play 4.
Yeah, I've got and talking about Ludwig, I've got some concerns around him. I think he's going to have to make some swing changes in order to get to where he wants to go. I just feel as though some of the movements that he makes in his swing, I think he's way too upright, which just leads to some inconsistencies, and you saw that in the players where he lost the second shot into the par 5 way right into the lake, and then the next hole, and then the next hole he's just duck hooked into the lake on the left, and that 2-way miss is and they were ideal. Big misses. It's not ideal. They were big misses. There's no 2 ways about. Well, there is 2 ways about it. It was 2 ways.
That's kind of the point.
I think that he's got to make some changes before he has the swing and the ball striking to be able to stand up under that sort of pressure when it comes to the majors. Yeah,
I think that's a fair shout. Do you think, Andy Walker, that he should potentially move towards the polygon geometric swing path that you've been playing with in the High Performance Centre?
That was quality, wasn't it? And look, I love Golf Swing Replay app. It's a great app, but sometimes it doesn't quite get it right. So
that was pretty funny.
When it gets it right, it's great, but when it doesn't, then not quite. And if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, jump on the
Facebook page.
The Facebook page. I did post the video of the so-called swing path that Golf Swing Replay app determined that I had, which it wasn't quite accurate. But
that wasn't ideal.
We'll leave it.
But I think in fairness, as you said, we love the app. We love the good people at the Golf Swing Replay. They are pilgrims. They listen to the show and ping us a message every so often. So by no means are we criticising the app in any way, shape or form. It's probably one of the best value golf performance and improvement apps on the market. But that was pretty funny. I've just started using the iPad paired with the iPhone. So the iPhone down the line, and then I've got the iPad basically sitting next to me, so I can monitor what the swing path is. So I don't need to just keep going back to the down the line camera to look at what the replays are. So really good. The only sort of downside to that is that the two apps don't sync. So what you record on your iPad, you can't see on your iPhone, and vice versa. I did ping them a message, and apparently it is in the works. They've had quite a bit of feedback in regards to having the two apps sync. So they said that will be a release that's coming down the line a little bit. So
is it coming down the line, or is it coming face on?
No, it's definitely coming down the line. So,
okay.
Yes.
Very good. Well, that's exciting. Well, Andy Walker, we're not going to do a full Masters tribute preview show.
No, we're not.
Because we will probably review the Masters in the coming week or so once it's been played and won. So stay tuned for that.
I'm actually taking the kids down the south coast down to see Ted from Mollymook, and we'll probably have a game while we're down there. So potentially, if we do a Masters review, especially straight after the Masters, I might be in Ulladulla, not on the good mic. So it might be like I'm a guest on the show. So I might have to call in from just my regular phone, or maybe the iPad.
That'd be interesting. We'll see how we go, Pilgrims. Stay tuned for that one. So tonight, a bit to talk about tonight. We need to do the wrap-up of the month of March for the Missing Links Golf Show Yearly Championship, the #1 finest amateur golf competition podcast based globally around the world, anywhere ever. Not sure if I put enough Trump-style hyperbole on that one, but giving it my best shot. But before
I'm actually surprised you didn't say universe. You just said the world.
It's probably the best golf show in the universe. It's a good point. But before we get to March, I need to do a bit of an acknowledgement on a slight error in February.
Yes, I've heard about this. I'm keen to listen to what's actually happened.
So I blame Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook algorithm from hiding a post from me from a friend of the show and Pilgrim, Peter Abraham from New South Wales. Peter shot a 35 during the month. I did go in and verify this, and I found his entry, but it had disappeared when I was doing the review. Apologies, Pete. That would have put him in a tie with Lucas, not from WA, but in fact from South Australia. And that would have been making him fighting it out for 4th and 5th is what would have happened.
Yep.
It would have pushed Matt Woodbridge and defending champion James Armstrong a slot down the ladder, which would have meant that James would have missed out on the points altogether, and Matty would have gone from 2 to 1 point. Now, I think it's somewhat unfair for those players, after having been announced with the scores that they got, to be bumped down. I also think that it's unfair for Pete to miss out on the points. So I'd like to propose this solution, Andy Walker, and see what you think, and just award Peter an additional 3 points as a tie with Lucas and keep everyone else's points the same.
No, I think we should do playoffs.
Oh, come on, man. I'm trying to be nice to the Pilgrims.
Playoff.
No, I think it's my error. I don't want to punish anyone. So I would like to suggest that we call it an equal 4th. Andy Walker, I think that's fair. It's a lot of silence. It's never good on a podcast.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Look, I disagree with it.
Okay.
But in the interests of cracking on, because we've got a lot of
content to get to. This is
content
kind of
to get through. Yeah. Let's just go with that.
And let me tell you, the Dice of Truth is going to make an appearance for the month of March, so you're not going to miss out on this.
Okay. All right.
So well, let's do that, and let's just crack on to March.
Okay. So, in March, we've got tied on 36 points in the positions of 6th and 7th.
So I had 35 points and I've missed out.
You've missed out. Yeah.
Far out, man. Like, that's...
Yeah. So we've got...
Not cool, man.
We've got ties for 1st and 2nd. Okay. And then we've got further ties for 3rd and 4th.
Yep.
Then we've got a standalone in 5th, and then in 6th, 7th, we've got a tie on 36 points.
Yeah, wow.
So it's been a pretty hot month.
It's a tough competition, man.
It's ridiculous is what it is. Anyway, so tied on 36 points, we've got Big Kerrod from Australia, from New South Wales, Australia. And the other Walker, Benny Walker, on 36 points. No relation.
Nice.
So it's time to go to the playoff hole. So teeing off first in the playoff is just because he's higher on the list here is KP. So KP's on the tee. What do you got, Kerrod? He's made a 5.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's not a great start.
He's not good in playoffs. I think we've established that. Even though they're virtual, he's got nothing to do with it. Hang on, out of bounds.
One-shot penalty.
Yeah. So he was playing 3 off the tee. And he's made a 2, which is a 5.
Oh, so he still won.
It's a 5. He's made a 5 because he's 3 off the tee. Plus he's 2. Just go with me. I want to go second playoff hole.
All right.
Controversy, Pilgrims. Could have been a 4, but we're calling a 5.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
Second time, KP's made another 5. Benny. Oh, here you go. Andy Walker. Tell me
3.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
Benny gets the biscuits. Well played. Well, I'm kind of glad that worked out the way that it did.
I'm not convinced about your calculation on the first playoff hole, but anyway.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the result didn't really matter. So
no, it didn't, and it was a bit of fun. Pilgrims, we can't take this too seriously. So that means that Benny slots into 6th. Sorry, Kerrod, you're in 7th. You miss out on the points. I think that's the second time that's actually happened. It is. It happened in January as well. He will not be happy. We do apologise. In 5th place with 37 points. Great round of golf. Lucas Anderson, not from Western Australia, but in fact from South Australia. So
nice
well
one.
Played. Lucas tied for 3rd and 4th on 38 points. We've got the other Walker, Ted, shooting his age.
Good round of golf from Ted from Mollymook.
Yes, and Paul Sam. So Ted's first on the playoff tee here for the 3rd and 4th playoff.
Oh, that's not good.
It's not. Ted, what are you doing? It's a 6. This should be a walk in the park. There's something wrong with the dice of truth.
It needs a bit of time to warm up, I think.
It's tight.
Oh, 5.
5.
Wow.
Paul takes it.
No one's doing particularly well in the playoff.
It's tough weather conditions out there. Which means, so there we go. So Paul's in 3rd, Ted's in 4th. Now, for 1st and 2nd, we've got another tie. James Armstrong from the UK on 39 points and Matty Woodbridge from Australia also 39 points. I should point out, Matt's 39 points was like 3 or 4 under par.
Well, he's +1, isn't he?
Yeah, it was an extraordinary round of golf.
Yeah. So 4 under, that's decent.
It's a very good golf. Anyway, James Armstrong first on the tee for the playoff, and not bad golf. Yeah, it's
4. Yep.
Shot a 4. It's going to be hard to beat. Matty's a good player though, so we'll see how he handles the pressure. Oh, look at that. He's made eagle. It's 2.
Nice.
So there we go. That's what it is. So Matt takes the cookies on that one. James slots into 2nd. That's some golf right there, ladies and gentlemen. That'll take some adding up. So we'll post an update in the Facebook group with positions in the competition for everyone to have a good look at. But there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Going to have to do better than 35 points then.
Yeah. I mean, you're actually going to have to play golf, which is something that I didn't manage to do
in March
during the month. So yeah, that was
we have got the Dundry Seniors coming up though, so we're definitely going to play one round of golf in April and then one round of golf in May because it's the 30th of April, 1st of May.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I have actually played a round of golf in April.
Okay, nice.
And I think that's a topic of conversation that we need to dive into, Andy Walker.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's do that.
So we played, set the scene. It's Easter, okay, the Easter weekend, which, as pilgrims will know, generally speaking, we would play the Macquarie Cup, which is a cracking event at Royal Dubbo.
Yes, it
stroke
is.
event over 2 days, championship layout, courses, fantastic nick. So it's always a difficult one. I, after some recent issues, and we'd made a decision with our timetable some months ago anyway that we weren't going to play it this year, but I managed to get out on the Saturday. I didn't play the Macquarie Cup because I wasn't playing both days, but I did play the day one of the Fairways Cup, which is the Stableford event. Now, Andy Walker, here's the thing. So the Macquarie Cup played off the back tees. The Fairways Cup is played off the members' tees.
Right. Yeah.
Just to, kind of have a little bit of variation and handicapped accordingly so that off the members' tees, they'd handicap me off 7 for the day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they'd chop me essentially, well, GA at 9.9, they'd chop me 3 shots really.
Yeah.
Not a massive amount of difference in the tee boxes, in fairness. In 1 or 2 holes, there was a bit of difference, but not a lot for a lot of it. It was only a couple of metres here or there, but obviously you're playing with the same pins, you got the same greens. So I felt like it was a bit of a tall order, but nevertheless, that's okay. And I haven't played a lot of golf lately as well, so I'm just wheeling out the excuses before we get too far into it. So it was always going to be a tough day, but you know what? After all of the recent goings on, it was just fantastic to get out and play a bit of golf with some good company. I was out there with Pilgrim Benny Walker. Shout out to Benny. Had a fantastic day with Ben in some beautiful weather, and Lammy, who joined us from the course of Young in country New South Wales. And also another visitor, Mark, who joined us from Warringah down in Sydney.
Oh, Warringah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Marky Mark, as he liked to refer to himself. So that was a bit of fun. Obviously met the rest of us with a funky bunch. So, there you go. So,
not a bad little course down at Warringah. I have played Warringah a few times, and it's decent.
Yeah, I don't mind it, in fairness. I think it's pretty good. I played it a lot back in the Missing Links social golf club days.
Yeah, that was one of your courses in the
it's always in the rotation.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. So we did absolutely enjoy that one, but it was they were anyway, all great company. So it was a fantastic day out. We thoroughly enjoyed it. But on to the golf. So Magic Day. Great conditions. Course was in mint condition. The greens were quick.
Yep.
They were quick, which was good. It was quite a lot of fun. So we teed off on one. One, of course, the par 5 out of bounds up the right. All of the golf course to the left. So I stepped up and hit my drive pretty much to the centre of the golf course.
Not centre of the fairway.
No. I actually blew it left, and you know how the 10th tee is down on the left.
Yeah.
I went left of the 10th tee into the rough in front of that tee box.
I was going to say, were you on the fairway or?
No, I was in the rough on the front of the tee box. It was so wide, I actually had to hit a 9-iron back over the trees to get back onto our fairway. Nice. Which I managed to do. It got back out onto the fairway, and I was left with about 165 out. Hit a 5-iron Andy Walker to the centre of the green. Easy 2-putt par.
It's regulation, isn't it?
Kind of. kind of. So anyhow, that was okay. That was pretty good. We stepped up onto 2. 2's that par 4, slight dogleg to the right. Hit a decent drive, but it was just a little bit left of target line and ran through the fairway, sort of into the trees a little bit.
You can run out of room there if you hit it too far to the left.
Yeah, so I did that. Was on the dirt, but I did have a look at the green, which I did not hit. I came up a little bit left, a little bit short, pitched on 2 putts, bogey was okay. Then we went to 3. 3's a tough hole. I never really like 3. 3's a fairly long par 4 with a tiny green that's heavily guarded by bunkers.
Very tight opening as well. Like, I know it opens up a little bit when you get to the back of the green, but that opening, it's actually quite an intimidating second shot if you're not coming in, especially if you're coming in with a mid to long iron. If you haven't quite got your drive, I mean, if you're coming in with a 8-9 wedge, it's a bit different, but yeah, it can be quite intimidating.
So originally that hole was designed as a par 5. And the tee box was actually back across what is now the fairway of the 27th, near the second green.
Yeah, I have heard that before. You may have mentioned that before, that it was meant to be a par 5,
Yeah, and the green makes a lot of sense to be a par 5 coming in with a wedge. When you're coming in quite vertically, but, much harder when you're coming in, like you say, with a mid-iron. So anyhow, I did get a decent drive away on 3, but I was back a little bit, and I think from memory, I was a 6 iron out to a back pin, hit a pretty good 6 iron onto the green, safe 2 putt par, and I think you're always happy to make par on 3. It feels like a par 4.5.
Yeah. So no damage done. You're 1 over through 3, yeah?
Yeah. Weirdly though, not feeling completely in control.
Right. Okay.
Like feeling rusty, I think.
Yeah.
Making decent
Which is
contact,
understandable.
but feeling rusty. So we moved to 4. 4's fairly long, par 4. Doglegs around to the right. I hit a bit of a heely cut drive, just held on to the left-hand side of the fairway. So, no harm done, but I was a long way out. So I then had to hit a 5-wood in because I was quite a long way back.
Okay.
And anyway, hit a decent 5-wood, but I just came up a little bit short left again. Pitched on 2-putt bogey. So not too bad.
Again, no real damage done.
No real damage done. So I was 2 over through the first 4. To be honest with you, the 4 of it's a tough starting stretch.
So it is.
I was actually pretty happy with that. And I was on handicap. I was 1 better on Stableford scores. I was 1 better.
Nice.
So it's not a bad start. So then we go through a series of holes where I don't get shots. In fact, I got no more shots for the rest of the 9. So
right. Okay. Yeah.
Have to essentially par in from here. So we moved to the par 5 third, which was playing around about 127 metres, I think, from memory to the pin. So a little bit of a tail breeze. So I hit sort of just a smooth 9 iron, slightly to the left side of the green, but it looked okay. Got over the front bunkers. It was a frontish pin. And I thought, that's okay. I'll be putting. Got down there, and of course, there's my pitch mark on the green, but the ball sucked left off the green, down the hill into the scraggly rough.
That's not ideal.
Which was disappointing. So wasn't able to make up and down, and walked off with a bogey that felt, to be perfectly honest with you, a little bit like an unforced error.
Yeah.
So that was a shame. Went to 6. Now 6 is a bit of a tight par 4. You've got the 7th tee on the left. You've got out of bounds and trees up the right, slight dogleg to the right. I blew my drive again a bit left onto the 7th tee. And then, so basically from there, you've got to pitch through a line of very, very large eucalypts. So I picked a gap just to punch back out onto the fairway with a little 7 iron, hit it quite nicely. And I've hit one of the trees middle stump. But better than that, it's come back at the next tree behind it and nestled right up in between a couple of tree roots hard against the trunk.
Yeah, wow.
So I've had to basically, if you can imagine, just like chop the club almost vertically down to get on the ball. You could very easily hit the top of the ball and like send it underground if you got this slightly wrong.
Yeah.
I think I managed.
Did you consider unplayable?
I did, yeah. But I was pretty confident that I could move it at least a few metres forward, which I did. I got it about 5 metres forward. So unplayable, wouldn't really have given me too much advantage. And then, look, from there, ended up making double, which was pretty disappointing. So that was 0 points. So then we get to 7, which is the par 5. Now, that's, pretty straight par 5 up the hill. And you know how
usually play that hole pretty well.
It's a birdie hole, to be honest. It's a birdie hole.
I feel like you do all right on 7.
Yeah, it's generally one that I want to have a good crack at. If you get a good drive away, you can, you're in pretty good shape. You know how there's the mound, like on the on the fairway that's about, what is it? It's about a bit over 250. It's probably about 260 metres off the tee box.
Yeah, from the back. Certainly it's, you got to get a good drive away to get it to the mounds,
So I pulled my drive slightly up the right side, which is not, generally speaking, not a big deal because you're probably better off being slightly right than being left on this hole. And anyway, we got down there. Playing partner Benny was also in those trees. We found his ball, couldn't find mine. So had a bit of a look around and I thought, I'll just poke my nose over the ridge, see if it's gotten over. It had comfortably gotten over that ridge.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
I looked on shot scope, press the shot distance button on the watch, 279 metres, Andy Walker.
Wow. Okay.
So I've obviously hit some of the hard stuff under the trees and run quite a long way. But unfortunately, it had gone a bit too far on that one, so I had to pitch out sideways, left me with about a 6 iron into the green, which I left a bit left and short-sided myself. I was left of the left bunker, so I had to come over the bunker.
That's tough,
to a left pin, and that green runs all the way away from you.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of a look, thinking, what am I going to do here? I pulled a really good fluffy lie in the rough. Ball was sitting up quite nicely. So I thought, all right, nothing says flop shot quite like this. So I took out the 56 degree. Opened it up. Had a really good aggressive swing at the ball.
Yeah.
And I've pretty much gone clean under it.
Wow. Couldn't see that happening.
Made enough contact just to nudge the ball further into the bunker.
Yeah, excellent.
At which point I go, all right, well, I've got to get up and down now for a point because I don't get a shot on the hole. Yeah. So I've tried to hit this really lovely little touchy bunker shot to just float it over the lip and roll out towards the hole because the green's just going to run away from you at this point.
Yeah.
So, which I did quite nicely, maybe just a smidge heavy because it just landed on the lip and then sucked nicely back into the bunker.
Nice.
So anyway, we didn't end up finishing that hole, and that was a wipe.
So after a reasonable start,
we've kind of fallen over ever so slightly.
Yeah, right. So is it basically wipe on 6 and 7 from a Stableford perspective.
Well, even better than that was 5, 6, and 7 went 1, 0, 0.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Which caused a few problems. And then, so 8, which is the par 3 down the hill. That's, it's not the easiest par 3. It was playing, what was it playing? It was playing 168 metres down, slightly down the hill. So hit 5 iron to the front of the green, nearly jarred the putt. It lipped out. So tap in par, which was good.
Okay. So good comeback.
And then 9, dogleg par 4 up the hill, hit a really good drive. Front pin, hit my wedge to the sort of front edge. No, I didn't. I hit it to the left-hand bunker. hit to the left-hand bunker, pin high, splashed out, made the putt. So sand save for par. So It wasn't a bad finish. So I finished on 14 points at the turn. And I suppose, I mean, I don't want to probably harp on about it. But in the cart, I did have a little bit of a chat with Pilgrim Benny Walker about how things were going. Yep. So I don't know, Andy Walker, do you want to tune into that and see how that went?
Sure. Yeah.
Welcome to the Missing Links Golf Show, Benny Walker. So here we go. Well, 9 holes in with Pilgrim Benny Walker. Benny, you're on 19 points. I'm only on a lowly 14. How are you feeling, brother?
Yeah, no, feeling good. The unfortunate thing is I think that there's only one way that my round can go, and probably one way your round can go as well. So I put the tee shot here on the 10th into the left-hand trees, which isn't the place to be. So
no,
not feeling particularly good about this hole, but so far things have been okay.
All right, now I think we need to talk a little bit about the mental game if you're going to be making comments like this at the turn.
That's not my strong point.
Oh dear. Anyway, we're having a good day, beautiful weather, good company.
I just wish I hit it like Lammy.
Oh mate, yes, our other playing partner, Lammy, hits the ball an absolute mile. He's turned it 1 over par, so it's pretty impressive stuff.
He's a lefty as well.
We've just found your ball here, Benny. It's not looking amazing. So anyway, Pilgrims, tune back in later. So there you go, Andy Walker. That was the update at the time.
Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be a conversation around mental attitude when you're playing well.
Terrible.
I mean, look, I understand the whole acceptance thing and not getting too far ahead of yourself, but then there's the opposite of like not expecting to play well for the second 9. So, Benny, we need to have a conversation, brother.
We had a bit of a chat about that when the microphone was turned off, but it's definitely some improvement for the other Walker to be made on that front. So, as you heard, Benny had found the left trees. I was in the left rough, had a little bit of tree overhanging branch trouble, but nothing too serious. Managed to nudge one up just in front of the green, pitch on 2 putt for a bogey for 2 points because I did get a shot on that hole, so that was not too bad. We then moved to 11, the par 3, where I don't get a shot, where I found the front right bunker. Splashed out. Not a bad bunker shot, actually, but just couldn't quite make the putt. So 2 putt bogey for 1 point, which was disappointing.
So bogey start to the back 9, yeah?
Yes. And then we went to 12. So 12, as the Pilgrims will know, is the par 5 with the water all the way down the left.
Yes.
Which the two lakes, in fact, down the left, one for your first shot and one for your second shot. So there's no let up really. Got a really good tee shot away on this one though, down the right side of the fairway, and hit a solid 5 wood to about probably 25 metres short of the green. Pitched on, nearly made the birdie putt, but tap in par. So that was pretty solid. Then we moved to 13. 13's that par 4. It used to be stroke 1 or 2 on the course. And then
it was really tough, par 4, yeah?
Yeah, it was. And then with the construction of some of the new holes that's been going on, which was one of the reasons, of course, why we didn't play the Macquarie Cup this year, they moved the tees way forward and they hadn't changed the stroke index, but it became became a birdie or even eagle hole for some of the longer hitters. They have since finished the new tee box, and so this was the first time I played off the new tee box. So it was back to, it's not back to the length that it used to be, but it's still a pretty decent par 4. So anyhow, that was good. And I reckon my best drive of the day, straight up the centre, was left with a short iron in, hit a nice iron to the centre of the green. Again, nearly made the birdie putt, but tap in par. So that was pretty good.
Okay. So that's a 3-pointer, yeah?
That's a 3-pointer, yeah. So then we moved to 14. 14 is another par 4 with the water on the right.
With the water, yeah.
Yeah.
And trees left, yeah?
Trees left, yeah. Like, to be honest, the trees on the left are no better than the water on the right, really.
Yeah.
Unless you get far enough over them. I hit what I thought was a good drive sort of up the left side, but it just rolled sort of just into the tree line and blocked me out for my second. It's all I could really do.
I feel as though you do that a lot. Like on that hole, you just hit it up the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And it just does it sort of camber a little bit into the trees?
It does.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It does.
Yeah.
So
water right, and then if you hit it up the left-hand side, it cambers into the trees.
Yeah, it's a bit nuts. I was genuinely surprised that it was in the trees though. Like I thought it was at least 5 to 10 metres right of the tree line, but apparently not.
Yeah, right.
That goes over a little rise, so it's difficult to see what bounce you get at times. Anyway, so I was able to punch one almost onto the green, sort of got a couple of metres short of the green. It was a back pin and hit a really good bump and run to about 4 feet, made the putt. Nice. Good up and down for par.
Three-pointer as well?
Three-pointer as well, yeah.
Okay, so 4-3.
Yep.
That's nice little run.
Yep. And then we move to a sequence again where I only get one more shot for the round, which is on 17. We move to 15. 15's a pretty tough par three up the hill with a couple of lakes to negotiate.
I'm surprised you don't get a shot there.
No, it's and it's particularly not off 7. Yeah. So anyway, I hit a 5-iron onto the green. It was really solidly struck 5-iron. And left my birdie putt probably, 7-8 feet short.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I don't even know how, but apparently you can. And then rather frustratingly lipped out the par putt, so tapped in for bogey. But I was 3 over for the night at this point, so it wasn't terrible.
And you've got the easiest hole in the golf course coming up.
Allegedly. We'll get to that. But before we get to that, Benny and I had another little conversation about how things were going at this point. So
nice.
We'll move to that now.
3 holes to play, Benny. How are you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I think, look, we both just 3-putted the 15th, so it's hard to be overly confident with how we're going at the moment. But overall, I don't think we're going too badly.
Yes, 3-putt bogeys after hitting the par 3 15th in regulation for both of us. A little bit disappointing. But anyway, first 3-putt of the day, so it hasn't been too bad, and the greens are running pretty damn fast. So anyway, putting has not necessarily been the weak point. There's been a few other chinks in the armour.
No, and look, if I've got a piece of advice, it would be that if you're putting for birdie, don't dog the first putt and just leave it halfway to the hole.
Yeah, so hit it further than halfway. Yeah, it's good advice. Nice. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, you may actually think from the telling of the story that he was talking about me, that he's actually talking about himself.
Yeah, right. Okay. So consistent golf between you two then.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying. Anyway, that's okay. We move on. We go to the easiest hole on the golf course, the 16th, the dogleg par 5, rated number 18. Don't know how. Solidly hit my drive, actually. I found the fairway bunker down the right-hand side.
Okay, that's a decent hit down the left-hand side there.
It sits at about 240, 250, something like that off the tee. That was pretty good. And then I hit a 6-iron out of there, just sort of aiming down the centre of the fairway. And I kind of went a little further than I anticipated, rolled through into the left rough, and I ended up being blocked out with an overhanging branch. You know that big pine tree that's down there on the left-hand side?
Yeah, I actually do, yeah.
Yeah, so that one kind of got in the way a bit, which was a bit annoying. So that turned a very easy pitch shot into a difficult kind of bump and run between the front bunkers, which, of course, I found the left-hand bunker and had to splash out.
So the pin wasn't like that back left pin location?
No, it wasn't back left. It was actually back right. I'd say they used the back left on day 2.
Yeah, that's a horrid pin position, back left.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to pitch out of the bunker onto the green. Never your favourite bunker shot, like that long bunker shot. So, but anyway, I did get it out. I got onto the green. And after having made my first 3-putt on 15, I made my second 3-putt on 16.
Oh, no. Yeah, wow. Okay.
So
that's a 0.
That's a wipe. Yeah, so that was a shame.
Yeah.
That was a shame because the 9 was actually progressing pretty well up until those 2 holes. So then we moved to 17. 17's another pretty full-on par 4.
Yep.
Blew my drive way left, which was fun.
Yeah, and that's not great left, because at least right you're sort of going towards the greenkeeper shed, and you sometimes get a shot.
You usually do.
From in
left
there,
is dead.
But yeah, left is not good.
Left is dead. I was in the centre of the trees, and I was kind of in this mini clearing in the centre of the trees. Like I couldn't go anywhere at the green or anything like that, but I was actually able. What I did is I hit a sand wedge over the trees back to the fairway.
All right. Okay.
Because I was so deep in that there was no punching through. There was like 4 lines of trees between me and the fairway. So I managed to hit a sandwich over and I got back to the fairway, which was not a bad effort. Left me with about what did I hit? I think I hit about an 8 iron in onto the green, and a safe 2-putt bogey for 2 points. That was the last of the holes that I got a shot on the way in, which of course leads us to 18, which you all know.
Favourite hole.
How much I love. I can't wait till this gets ripped up for the driving range and practice area. So anyway, I hit a 4 iron off the tee and pin was on the right-hand side. As you'll know, the green slopes heavily left to right and the greens were running quick. So I was high side. And there's just it's just not going to stop, right?
No, there's no chance.
So I pitched on over the bunker, pitched onto the green, and surprisingly ran through the green into the rough. So I was there for 2, and I had a putt then. I was kind of back right corner, if you can imagine, back right corner of the green, putting back with a massive big right to left breaking putt. I reckon I've given it about 20 feet of break on this putt, and I've hit what I thought was actually a really good putt, and just good speed, allowing it to take the break and trickle down to the hole, which it generally does. It's very hard to stop down this hill, but it stopped 6 feet high side.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I got up there and I'm looking at this 6-footer straight down the hill with a little bit of right to left on it.
So you basically, it's 1 putt or 3 putts from there, yeah? Like you're not going to stop it.
No. And it's for a point at this point.
Right. So it's all or nothing, really.
Yeah. So I've literally just touched it and it starts rolling. It's rolling, and it's the longest that a putt's ever taken to make 6 feet. Keeps going, and it looks like it's going to stop an inch in front of the hole, and it just very lazily and languidly takes one more turn and just drops in the front of the cup.
So did it do like a tiger pause, with the branding right on the lip?
Let's say it did, and that there was someone in the background just as I've hit it going, better than most.
I think you're sort of getting the rounds mixed up there. I think
maybe slightly. Look, one's at Augusta and one's at Sawgrass. Like, don't split hairs. Anyway, it went in. I made a point. I was pretty happy about that.
I think that was the in your life. Have you seen anything like that?
Could have been. In your life. Be the right club today.
Again, you're closer with the better than most, with the be the right club today. At least it's the same golf course, right?
Yeah.
Same event.
Yeah. So anyway, no, he was that was at the Players as well. Be the right club today. Was it the Players?
Yeah. Hal Sutton.
Yeah. Anyhow, I made the putt for a point to finish on 29 points. So it was funny, because I felt like I shouldn't have been playing off 7,
Yep.
And, in my GA at 10, if I was playing off 10, it's 32 points.
That's about average what you can expect. They reckon 32, 33 points is what they say your average score should be.
It is. So I felt more like that's about what it was, really. And it was okay. It had its moments. I had probably 4 wobbly holes, really, But outside of that, it wasn't too bad. But I don't think that's the lead story. All right, like there's a few other stories that took place on this day. So this was also round 1 of the Macquarie Cup, and I do want to give a shout out to Pilgrim Matty Woodbridge, who finished. I think in the Facebook group, I think we acknowledged that he finished 7th in the tournament.
Yeah, I did. I did see that. Couple of good rounds.
He scored 145 for 2 rounds of golf, stroke play in tournament setup, and the greens were slick. I've mentioned that a few times, and I think I do want to call that out because that's some fantastic golf. So well played, Matty.
Yeah. So what he said, 74, 71? Did I see?
I think that's right. Yeah. It's quality golf.
Yeah. So
quality golf.
Came home well. It's on day 2.
Played very well. Another thing.
What won it?
It was 138. I think it was Cooper Giddings, your friend of mine, friend of the show. Young Coop, hell of a golfer. Now, one.
Good golf, isn't it?
It's incredible golf. One other one that I want to shout out is also playing partner Benny Walker. Now, Benny had spoken to me a few months back and said that it was he had a couple of goals. He wanted to get his handicap under 20, his GA under 20.
Yep.
And he'd said he'd never broken 90.
Okay.
In competitive golf. So on this particular day that I was fortunate enough to witness, Pilgrim Benny Walker shot an 88 off the stick.
Excellent.
Which saw his GA drop to 19.8.
Nice.
So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, well done. Congrats, Benny.
Also on the 5th hole, we were fortunate to see the nearest the pin sheet at the time that we came through.
Yes.
With another fellow pilgrim, Timmy Nichols. So well done, Timmy.
Yeah, saw that on the Facebook group as well. So did Tim end up getting the nearest to the pin? Did he win it on the day, or did he get pipped?
Absolutely no idea.
Right. Okay. Because it was pretty close, wasn't it? It was like 42 centimetres or something.
It was something like that. Yeah. He made the birdie. Yeah. He did make the birdie, so that was good.
Yeah.
Timmy, if you're listening, let us know. Did you end up winning? I don't know. I didn't check the final sheet because nothing was happening with 29, let me tell you.
And it's good preparation for the show. Shout out for the nearest the pin. We don't know if he won or not.
Don't know if he won. He might have. Let's say he did. If you didn't, we'll give you a golf ball. So fantastic work. So yeah, look, it was a quality day out. It was a really, really good weekend. Great weather.
Nice.
Some excellent company around the course, and it was nice to get out there and play some golf actually. So
yep.
Yeah, a lot to be said. But I think, if I reflect on it, Andy Walker, I think a couple of things. I'm still not comfortable with where my driver swing is at.
Yep.
The wobbliness is still there, hasn't quite come back to where it needs to be. I do think a lot of that's just not playing enough.
Yep.
And just kind of being a little bit out of kilter on that one. The other couple of things is I'm pretty happy with the way I'm striking my irons. I mean, you would have heard from that story, like I hit some greens. I've hit a number of greens from outside of 150 metres.
And it sounded like you hit a couple of, I wouldn't say ordinary drives, but not great drives, but still managed to get it on the green, which says to me that your iron play is reasonable. Yeah,
it's probably as good as it's been, realistically. Putting was, I made 2 3-putts in consecutive holes. I actually got quite mentally tired, which I actually think it's got a lot to do with all the other stuff that's been going on, not golf related. And I know that definitely affected things, but generally speaking, my putting was actually really quite good. So I was pretty happy with that. So that's definitely not an issue. Short game's still not where it needs to be, although I have learned a couple of little things which I think are useful. One of them is using less loft when possible around the green. Get the ball on ground faster.
Definitely. Yep.
And that happened on 14, where I had to hit that bump and run with a pitching wedge rather than trying to hit a 56 degree or something like that. And that was actually really good.
It does sound like, though, that you're getting a bit of bunker practice in.
I did hit a couple of good bunker shots. I hit, obviously that poor one, but I did hit a couple of good bunker shots. Bunker shots, I actually feel more confident with at the moment because you have more speed.
Yep.
So that's like it's a little bit less touchy because you've got a bit more speed through the ball. Yeah. The other thing that I've been working on, and what's funny is I was having a chat with one of the other pilgrims a few weeks ago now when we had a 9-hole practice round. He was saying that every time he listens to me talking about short game on the show, he starts screaming at the radio in the car about something that he's learned, which I need to know. And of course, on that particular afternoon, he could not remember what that piece of advice was.
Excellent. Love it.
So, Morrow, if you're listening, please just pull over, send me a message, let me know what it is. Yeah,
right. Write it down.
Yeah. But what I have been working on, Andy Walker, is trying to get, sort of 60, 70% of the weight on the lead side.
Yes. Yeah.
Making sure the takeaway is not coming inside, but the takeaway is sort of in line with the target line. And then trying to make sure that I'm making the motion through the ball with my chest more so than my arms, so that when I finish the motion, I'm pointing the buttons of my shirt at the target.
Yep.
So that's the thought process at the moment. Now, it's a work in progress, sorry. And here's the bit that's a bit scary is when practicing, I can do it perfectly. And then on the course, things go a little bit haywire. So there's...
Yeah, but I mean, that's just reps though. Like I'm sort of having a similar issue at the moment with the swing changes that I'm making, in that it feels great in the high performance center and I can get into the positions that I want to, but then get out in the golf course and... Yeah, I sometimes can, but it's just, as you know, golf course and practice, very, very different environments.
Yep. So I think I'm on the right path, but I'm just not. I've got zero confidence is kind of the issue.
Yep. Yeah. And look, what I've really found helpful with short game, because I never used to practice my short game, Scotty Fish will attest to that. But in recent times when I have put a bit of time into my short game, so you mentioned that you want to take the club straight back. Well, I actually try and take the club slightly outside the line and try and open the face a bit. And then so the tour tempo out's been great for tempo, getting that 2-to-1.
Good point.
Yeah, backswing to follow through tempo. That's been really helpful. But then with your weight being on, it's on your right side for yourself. For me, it's on my left side. I really try and make sure that my front side, my lead side, is really stable, and I'm sort of hitting up against it. I sort of feel as though my left hip is up against a wall, so I'm not sliding.
Yeah, good point. Okay.
Yeah, so I want my lower half to be really stable, and I've found that the more stable I can make my lower half, the better my contact is around, and even from 80 to 90 meters. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my weight, and it sort of progressively goes back to sort of balanced. The further out I am, but certainly 50, 60 meters from the pin, my weight is still 60, 70% on my left side, and I'm trying to be stable with my lower half. And I've found that to be really helpful, and just gives me a good foundation to make good contact through the ball.
No, that all makes sense. I've still, obviously got a bit to work on. Practice time's always a challenge, but continue to try and do that. And as I said, I feel like at least I've got a direction to move in technically, and some things to think of, which is, correcting some of what I know were some technical issues that I had that led to the lack of confidence. From this point, it's just about grooving that in and, kind of getting the feel. But I did hit some better pitches this time for the first time, and I didn't, aside from on 7 when I went straight under one in the rough, but that's just, that's one of those things that can happen.
Yeah. Yep.
But other than that, I thought it was relatively solid. So that's good. It doesn't feel great yet, but it's sort of moving in the right direction. But they're the things. It's the short game and driving at the moment. That's kind of the areas that need some improvement.
So I've got a question, and I know I asked this question not that long ago. Given being in the southern hemisphere, we're now heading into winter. End of daylight saving was over the weekend. What's the plan? What plan do you have over the winter months where we don't have the light? You can't get out and play holes after work. What's the plan to either maintain or still have that improvement that you're after?
It's going to be difficult, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
The first part of the plan, to be honest, is keeping head above water at the moment. With we talked a bit about this in the last episode, but there's a fair bit of stuff going on with young Mr. Hinks that's pretty difficult to manage. So step one's kind of really focusing on that, to be honest. Like so many people, we've all got stuff going on, right? Like it's not easy.
Yeah, 100%.
Step two is, in terms of golf, I will be leaning really heavily on the high performance center and the square launch monitor, and sort of having a bit of a muck around with some of the options, whether it's Awesome Golf or GS Pro or something like that. I want to have a look at. I'll probably go down the Awesome Golf path just because it's also what you're doing, and that enables us to potentially do a bit more collaborating stuff. But I think I'm going to have to use a lot of that. I want to probably get a bit more use out of the TRS slider in terms of full swing stuff. They actually sent me an email, as they do, with the, you've bought it, what do you think? Give us a review. So I sent back an email to those guys just about, hey, I'm a left-hander, and it'd be amazing if there was a left-handed version, even though you can use it left-handed. It's kind of upside down, around the wrong way. So anyway, they sent back a bit more info on how to use it left-handed, which was good. I have to get into that. And I also asked if they've got any sort of ideas for drills and uses to get the best out of it, because there's, I could find a lot of sales material, but not a lot of how to use it material. So they've sent me a few videos, which I've got to get into as well. So I thought that was really good.
Nothing on YouTube. I would have thought
there probably
YouTube
is.
University.
There probably is.
Yeah,
would
have a bit.
I went to their website. Their website's basically a sales website, not a training website. And the unit itself came with 0 instructions. Like you don't really need it. It's a seatbelt that goes around your chest and a strap that goes around your arm. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
But just some ideas on some drills and those things. So they've sent me some of that material. So I'll look through that because I think that potentially is the path I need to go down to address some of the swing issues that's leading to my driver being erratic. I think that can definitely help things from that point of view. So that's probably something that I'll spend a bit of time on. Yeah. And to be honest with you, the other one is actually physical fitness. Is continuing to do the gym work and the physical side of things. It's not specifically golf, but it's general all-round well-being. I actually think that's a big deal, particularly as, as we move into our 50s. Doing
certainly strength and conditioning, mobility, all those things are going to help. And I think that because you mentioned not long ago that you felt as though you'd lost sort of half a club in your distances. I mean, you will get that back if you start doing your strength and conditioning again. And the same as club head speed is a really good one. And I mean, I'm still doing a little bit of speed work. I was in the high performance center yesterday, sort of getting sort of about 116 miles an hour. 166-ish ball speed. So I was, reasonably happy with that. I'd like to get my club head speed over 120. That's my goal, to have it up over the 120 miles an hour. So my cruising speed is about the mid 1 teens.
that would be really good. And I think some of my swing changes as well, less over the top, and more sort of shallowing the club and getting my the speed in the right place, as you know, and as we talked about before, my highest speed was actually before impact, so I want my highest speed to be through impact. So all those things, I think, whether it be strength and conditioning, whether it be technique, it's all going to add to your speed. It's all going to add to your distances and consistency as well.
For sure. Yeah. Without a doubt. So that, broadly speaking, that's the plan. And, I'm going to play another round. We've got the monthly medal coming up next Saturday, so we'll have a crack at that. And then
nice. That'll
kind of lead us into the Duntry Seniors.
Yep. Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, there's a bit going on. Got some golf coming up. That's exciting. So yeah.
No, and I must admit, I'm looking forward to the Duntry Seniors. I don't know how much competition play I'm going to get in before then. I've got the Central Coast 2-ball Ambrose Championships with David McClelland on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. We've got a 12 o'clock tee-off time at Shelley Beach.
Excellent.
So yeah, that'll be a bit of fun. Little interesting thing that happened on Good Friday. I was going out to play 9 holes, and I just said to my kids, I'm going out to play golf. And young Miss Walker said, "Oh, Dad, can I come?"
Okay.
I went, "Sure, no worries at all." So she's got a little sort of set of clubs that used to be young Master Walker's clubs. He's now got a sort of bigger set, so I threw those in the back, and I went and hired a cart. Put her clubs on the back, and about halfway down the fairway, sort of got her to jump out and hit some balls. And quite interestingly, from about the third, where she was struggling to actually get and she's got, it's basically a driver, 7-iron, wedge and putter.
Yeah.
Right. And she was struggling to get the driver sort of halfway back. From that point to when we were playing the 8th, and I've got a couple of videos of it where she's making a full swing by the 8th. She like dramatic improvement. And obviously she's only 8. She's pretty young, turns 9 next month. But yeah, she's keen to come out and start playing a bit of regular golf. So
amazing. The next Minji Lee.
Might have a little golfer on her hands.
That's pretty cool. Very cool.
Yeah, young pilgrim.
Yeah, pilgrimette as well.
Yes. So yeah. No, I'm pretty pumped about that, because if we can sort of get out on a Saturday afternoon, and I think the mistake I made. Of course, young Master Walker was out there playing a little bit around about the same age, and I think the mistake I made with him was that we started walking rather than being in a cart, and it just I think it lost its fun element when and it becomes a bit of a long day or long afternoon when you've got to drag your clubs around. So what I'm going to do is just whenever young Miss Walker comes out to play, we'll jump in a cart and
100%.
Yeah, and 100%. I think that'll add the fun to it, and hopefully that'll encourage her to get out and play a bit more. So yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to the updates, Andy Walker. It's exciting.
It is very exciting.
It's exciting. And any other pearls of wisdom that you've got for the Pilgrims?
Well, look, I think there's really only one thing left to do. I mean, it is Masters Week, so I think the one thing that we do is on a regular basis is pretty important this week.
It definitely is. It's good preparation, I would think.
So rock out, Pilgrims.
Nice. Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, pilgrims.